Good morning, Southwest Florida Inc. My name is Michael Nashif, System Director of Government Relations for Lee Health. I'm here to tell you about the 2021 Florida legislative session. The legislature passed the largest budget in state history, about $10 billion more than the previous year at $101.5 billion. That was buoyed by both federal relief dollars as well as the work you all had done to keep the state open. The increased revenues from dock stamp tax, the increased sales tax collections, general revenue pushed this state budget, and it's balanced. The Florida legislature did a great job to put money in reserves, balance the budget, and to take care of those services that we needed. Along with those things, they also passed COVID-19 liability protections for small businesses and healthcare providers, something that was sorely needed for those of us that stayed open to both provide goods and services and protect those Floridians that needed our help during the COVID-19 pandemic. One other very important measure that the legislature had accomplished was to pass a parity bill for online sales tax collections, so that online retailers will now be paying the same taxes that you are in the state of Florida as brick and mortar businesses, and they'll be using those increased revenues to offset the unemployment trust fund, as well as to cover a cut in the commercial sales rent tax. So the legislature accomplished a great deal this year, and I look forward to telling you more about it as we get into the next clip. The Florida legislature passed a number of other important bills this year. Some of those in the education space included the expansion of the school voucher program. The voucher program will now allow a family of four to be making nearly $100,000 to have access to those schools of choice vouchers and be able to send their children where they'd like for school. That expansion in education is something that's been celebrated by many and something this legislature has been looking to do for a while. And this expansion should lead to more opportunities for children in the state of Florida. Another thing the Florida legislature did this year was repeal personal injury protection, no-fault auto insurance coverage. That's something they've been looking to do for a number of years, and as a healthcare provider, I can tell you that one of the things in PIP that's important to us is guaranteed medical coverage for those who are in accidents, no matter who is at fault. They were able to pass bodily injury coverage that you can opt out of, which is still an important component, but it should, in theory, lead to lower rates for Florida drivers. And as time goes on, we'll see if the legislature reviews this issue again. It's been a big fight for a number of years, but as of right now, the governor has not yet signed the bill, and we'll see what he decides to do if he believes it will lower insurance rates for Florida's residents. That is the goal. So another issue that the Florida legislature addressed this year was integrity of elections. They made some changes to drop-in mail voting boxes, as well as vote by mail dates and deadlines. It's something that shouldn't affect the way that the majority of us vote, but something the legislature believed was necessary and the governor signed in order to protect the integrity of elections. Another thing the Florida legislature addressed this year has to do with toll roads. You may remember in years past that the legislature had enacted a study that was looking at building toll roads in the state of Florida that would have created additional thoroughfares both for alleviation of traffic and for hurricane evacuation routes. This year they decided to repeal a portion of those previously outlined toll roads, particularly one going from Collier County to Polk County, which I know down here many of us would have liked to have seen, but from an environmental perspective they decided better to not move forward with that portion of the project. They're still looking at some sections of that road in the Big Bend area around the panhandle of Florida and creating those opportunities for traffic alleviation while mitigating any impacts to the environment. Another thing the Florida legislature addressed this year was raising the age for tobacco product consumption and vaping products from 18 to 21. That's going to mirror federal law, and the governor did sign that bill this year. There are exemptions for those in the military, but otherwise the age will be moving from 18 to 21. So one thing the Florida legislature did this year was address social media companies deplatforming individuals for things that they say, and in looking for a way to standardize freedom of speech and a right standard for individuals to be reviewed. The plan will allow the governor and the state of Florida to bar social media companies from removing political candidates from the company's platforms, and it does that by threatening hefty fees to these companies if they are to do that within the state of Florida for state candidates. So I think they're looking to set a precedent here in an endeavor to protect speech, and certainly these private companies will likely challenge, but we'll see how this plays out on a much broader political and national stage. So the Florida legislature has you all to thank for your work to keep this economy rolling. The governor and the legislature made decisions during the COVID-19 pandemic to keep the state of Florida mostly open, and those decisions have paid strong dividends as it relates to our economy. We are now in the 8th consecutive month of being increased beyond projected revenues for the state of Florida in a manner that's demonstrating our great strength and the strength and resiliency of our residents, of our business owners, of our healthcare providers, and of our economy. So I want to thank you all for the work you did to make sure this economy is strong and rolling, and that we were able to pass a strong and balanced state budget that reflects the work you've done.